NFL football legend Tom Brady has revealed his dog Junie is a clone. The 1995 Montreal Expos draft pick announced that biotech company Colossal Biosciences created the clone shortly after the death of his old dog Lua, a pit bull mix. The idea of cloned pets raises questions about love, grief, and second chances. Let's talk all about it. Our pleasure to welcome Kevin Cirilli onto the program, the host of Hello Future on iHeartMedia's Premier Network and the founder of MTF.TV's Meet the Future. Kevin, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, it's a crazy story. So Tom Brady, he was the one that divorced Giselle, the supermodel, and him and Giselle, they had a dog, and they loved their dog. He loved this dog, Lua, so much. So the marriage didn't last, but he decided he wanted to clone his dog, Lua. And so what he did, like any rich person would do, is invest in Colossal Biosciences and cloned his dog. And he joins the likes of Paris Hilton, for example, and other celebrities who have really latched onto this idea of cloning their dogs because they love their dogs so much and their pets so much that they want to have a clone of it.
And not lost on me in this announcement, right, is that he's an investor in this company, right? So there's that side of there's that aspect to all of this. Where are we at right now? So whether it's Colossal Biosciences or maybe there aren't competitors out there, where are we when it comes to cloning pets?
Well, there are competitors out there, and in fact, there are European countries and companies in the U.S. as well that are all about this. And it is a cottage pet industry, but it is something that is here and that people are doing, and it's been around for several years. And it's not just from a perspective of for pet lovers, but it also comes down to farming and agriculture. So you might remember a couple of years ago, the sheep that was cloned named Dolly. But the implications of being able to clone animals for ecosystems and agricultural purposes are very, very real. But one of the things we talk about on the show through our episodes is whether or not this technology is enhancing our ability to be human or if it's making us less human. I'm looking at my dog right now who's staring up at me saying, if you ever clone me, I will come back to haunt you. But there's something to be said. I mean, I'm a huge pet animal lover, and I can't imagine cloning Theo, my dog. But, you know, I'm not going to judge Tom Brady or Paris Hilton, but I will say, there's something about having a pet through different seasons of your life, through different chapters of what you go through. And, you know, I think that this raises the questions about whether or not a clone can actually do that. And maybe it can for some people, but those are the type of themes we explore on the show.
And when we say clone, I think this is a good question, right? Like, is it truly 100% clone? Are there differences that, like, so if you were to compare these two dogs, would they be 100% identical? You know, how true of a clone is a clone?
That's such a great point, because a clone, as we hear it, means the same genetic DNA and genetic sequencing, but it doesn't necessarily mean the same personality, because let's take Tom Brady's dog, for example. Lua, who passed away, you know, and now he's got this new dog, Joni, and, you know, this new dog never met Lua. And so this new dog is a puppy. So their timelines are very different. And obviously the world in which they inhabit is very different. And so whether you're scientists exploring to bring back woolly mammoths or, you know, maybe one day dinosaurs, they can't do that yet. It's really interesting. So that's the human element of the conversation. But then there's the scientific application part of it, whether it's wanting to be able to clone animals so that we can terraform other planets or create small science labs on other planets like Mars, to create agricultural farming, because you need animals obviously to create some type of an ecosystem, or even to create animals for parts of our world here to enhance and set back the effects of climate change.
And I should point out, we found out this week that Health Canada here changing some of the rules when it comes to cloned meat should make it more likely that we'll see cloned meat on Canadian grocery store shelves. So it's fascinating how fast this is moving. I have to ask you, Kevin, about cost here. You know, Tom Brady, he's got lots of money. I think you mentioned Paris Hilton. She's got lots of money. Is this just for the ultra rich? How much does it cost to clone your pet?
Several $1,000s, and depending on the size and the breed and everything. So right now it is something that is for the wealthy, but what we've seen in the past is that celebrities are able to promote certain technologies that ultimately get it into the broader culture consciousness. And so those costs, if more people are able to do, if more people are interested in it, the cost could come down.
Now, I had a dog for 14 years, lost him just as, or beginning of 2020 is when it lost him. Haven't gotten a dog. It's okay. And I haven't gotten a dog since, but he was the best dog. Okay. He was the best dog.
You gotta get a new dog.
Well, and I guess, that's what I'm trying to get to, right? Like the line here, like when does, okay, it's convenient. I can order a new dog that's just like my old one. But does it sort of become a dependence? Like, oh, the only pet you can have is the exact same pet you already had. I wonder if that's something you're grappling with, others grapple with.
Well, it's definitely something that people are grappling with. I'm going to encourage you to get a new dog, and I'm going to encourage you to not get to get a new dog with the expectation that it will be different than your last one and you'll have a different relationship with it. But that's the point of the whole entire conversation, because we talked about cloning, but there's a huge industry happening right now in Japan about robotic pets and people forming some type of attachment to a robotic pet to combat loneliness. And you're seeing elderly care, for example, people with robotic pets to combat loneliness. And so how humans form relationships with technology, with devices, with robots, is something that is becoming more and more common, especially with the quick advancement of all of the robotic advancements that people are making with humanoid robots, pet robots, healthcare robots, and even in the classroom, teacher robots as well.
And Kevin, the other thing I'm thinking about is it's not like we have a dog shortage. Like I get the case for cloning animals for the food system, right? You bring up like colonizing other planets. I get that. I'm trying to think about the case. We have so many dogs. We have so many cats. Do we really need to clone them?
That's a great point. It's a great call out. And hardly do I want people to think that I'm advocating for one position or the other. I'm just, my job is to help translate the future. I think it's a great call out. I think it's a very fair question, and one that we should definitely, grapple with. And again, we have laws and guidelines and restrictions for what it relates with human capabilities and designing capabilities of all of this. Should we be thinking that same way in terms of animals? Because, what are the implications of, if you think of mixed breeding animals and whatnot, what are the implications of that and what it could do for the rest of civilization? A huge question, science fiction questions, but it's no longer science fiction. Yeah. And it's kind of why I started this whole process, this whole initiative with this media company, is because I think that people are dying to kind of have these conversations and to make sense of it. So that's what I hope to do.
Let me just ask you what's next, because I'm thinking if you can clone Rover, well, why can't you clone Grandma? Like, is human cloning coming?
I hope not, and I will take a strong position on that. I really, truly hope not. You mentioned Grandma. I always think of my grandmother Mimi, and there's only one Mimi. I don't care what anyone says. But separately from that, if you can't again, like right now, if you were to clone a human, it would start as a fetus. You know what I mean? And so it's like you would be older than your grandparents.
Yeah.
That's the part that I think people are missing. But they did put. I don't have it off the top of my head, but they did send the DNA of several other presidents into outer space. There was a company that did that. So who knows what people are thinking, and
Yeah, Kevin, listen, I got to leave it there. I want to thank you so much for coming on this morning. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Kevin Cirilli right there, host of Hello Future on iHeartMedia's Premier Network and the founder of MTF.TV's Meet the Future.
I'm Dylan Playfair.
And I'm Tyler Smith.
We're putting loneliness in the penalty box by talking to some of our favorite athletes about the importance of friendship.
This is Bromance.
Bromance is brought to you by Charm Diamond Centers, proudly Canadian-owned and operated. Charm has been part of your love stories and bromances for over 50 years. And you can find Bromance on the iHeartRadio network or wherever you get your podcasts.